Did you press something on the tablet and it hung up?
I don't know. It's telling me that I'm recording.
That's because
Well-
I'm recording.
Yeah, but it just told me that I was recording. Yeah, it says that. That's so weird.
Huh.
I guess I just missed too many meetings, so this is what I get. Yeah, it shows that I'm recording, but I don't.
Huh.
It
I'm
doesn't-
pretty sure I said recording. Well, either way, I'll get the recording
Yeah,
because I'm the host of the meeting.
You are the hostess with the mostest.
I am the hostess with the mostest. That's right.
Mhm.
That's supposed
And look at
what
you with
is
your
that
hair
supposed to
down.
mean?
I know it's it actually feels really good. I mean, I just talked to my mom on FaceTime and she's like, your hair is still so long. I'm like, yeah, it's still pretty long, but not as long as that horsetail.
Yeah.
Much
Yeah. I
easier
just
on it.
don't see you wearing it down very often.
That's because it was like 5
Way
feet
too long. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, 15 inches or 12 inches longer.
Yeah,
So it was down to here.
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tomorrow, Chris and I celebrate 24 years of marriage.
Woohoo.
Actually, that's reversal. Usually I'm always the one who has to figure out how many years we've been married. Because he's always like, how many years we've been married? And I'm like, I don't
So
know. a
May
lot.
25th.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Some people
Um,
might call it a celebration.
Ouch. Ouch.
We
So
call it a
I was just
celebration.
thinking, so it's 24 years. So next year will be your golden 25 on the 25th.
25. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that requires like, I just started thinking about that. I'm like, we should do a trip. Like, oh boy.
Mm.
We're pretty good about trips in general, but I think like really signifying 25 years, that's a pretty big
Mhm.
deal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw some hiking in there.
Oh
We
gosh,
should-
I don't know. I don't know, Laurel. I don't know.
You
I
maybe
think
at 25 years, you might be like a step up. from
maybe we'll
hiking.
do hiking.
Maybe we can go to Disneyland World.
I have a suggestion.
I know. I was
Oh,
going to say, I'm sure Dana can just pull out the list of, 50
sure
trips that
she's-
she's currently planning.
All right.
You can
I don't want to
choose
go
from
see those
those.
mummies from Laurel.
I
or
thought
else-
that the trip that we did in March down to Crescent City to Jedediah Smith
Mhm.
was, it was fantastic. I mean, those trees are so beautiful. And Crescent City's, I mean, for a little Northern California beach town, it was okay. We
Yeah,
can
it's
tell you
nice.
where to get really good food.
What? We've been there.
Yeah, we have been there. Actually, I
we
think
haven't been
we're,
there in years.
I
but
think we're gonna go there in September.
we are.
Yeah, because I want to go back down there. He doesn't.
No, I'm okay with that. I just
Yeah,
didn't-
yeah. In fact, I was just looking, Dana. I was looking at horseback riding stuff, and there's stuff down in the redwoods that you can horseback ride in the redwoods.
That's where I
Oh,
might
that's
have to draw the line.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's.
I'd
it-
go with that, definitely.
I know, right?
Yeah, the redwoods are really awesome. Did you? I can't remember if we had this conversation. Were you able to get on Howland Road? I can't remember if I told you that or not. It was.
It's like a
Yeah.
dirt road.
It's a dirt road with some old groves in it.
Yeah, we drove, that was the main road that took us in and you go all the way to the end and it takes you to the Stout Grove.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's-
so we
that's
walked
awesome in
that
there.
one. And then the trail that we really enjoyed was the Boy Scout tree trail,
Yeah.
which was
Ah.
almost 6 miles round trip. And it's easy to miss that Boy Scout tree if you're not looking in the right direction.
He found it.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did it.
Long
Yeah,
time.
we did it.
Long
We probably
time
did
ago.
it 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I think.
We haven't done the boys. The last few times we've taken company, so it's been on a shorter time span. So we've just done the Stout Grove, which is a nice mile walk or whatever that is, mile and a half.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
about right, yeah.
Laura, have you been down there?
No,
Over there?
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
God.
redwoods are a must see.
They're just so humbling. I
You
mean,
went to see, you got to see one of the groves on the way to Sea Ranch, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the ones down, down for you guys down further south,
Yeah.
Sea Ranch. We went to kind of the parts of Muir Woods that I could, that you can walk into, but otherwise, yeah, I haven't.
how do they compare in size to the ones up here then? They're a different type, no?
I
don't know.
didn't see any that were as large as the ones that I think are the larger ones.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're still pretty spectacular to be in.
Well, they all reach a certain height, and then I think they just
Right.
get wider.
They
Like
just,
the ones that the ones in Northern California where Dana and we're talking about, they can get to 20 feet in diameter.
Mhm.
So what
Yeah,
most of
I don't
them-
think we ever saw
Mass-
any more than maybe like 10 feet in diameter,
Mm.
maybe
Yeah,
in the
So
places.
big,
I
but not-
was.
That sounds like it'd be a fun little 25-year road trip, you know?
I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah,
and I was
just dip a
thinking,
little further south for some
Although
walk.
I was thinking even maybe further south, like maybe in.
Yeah.
and I
Continent.
was thinking of a grand tour of South America or Europe, but if you just want to go to see the
No,
redwoods,
I'm
that's
thinking
fine.
further south for some reason. I'm just like starting to think a lot about South America. I don't know if either one of you been there. I've never been, nor really had a huge draw until just, I don't know, I just feel like recently, I'm just like, I want to go down there.
Yeah, I've never been to South America. I'm furthest south I've been in the Americas is Mexico.
Right.
And I mean, you know, that's fine. It's fun. When you live on the East Coast, the Yucatan Peninsula is a really easy place to get to. Not so much to live on the West Coast, you know, for us, it's more like going down to Baja, but yeah, I've heard great things about it. I'd really like to see Belize. And I used to send people on ecotourism trips to Costa Rica all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say Costa Rica seems like the one that's easy to do
Yeah.
and organize something that's really interesting and
Yeah.
like their ecotourism is set up.
Yeah,
Pretty
Belize and
solidly,
Costa Rica were really popular. And I mean, you're talking about going further south, not Central America, but like.
We're not, we
Australia.
haven't even talked about it. It's really,
We just-
I'm dreaming.
A couple years ago, we had some friends that were talking about going down there to live for a while, and we were like, oh, maybe we'll come down and join you for like a couple months. And that
Mhm.
was in Argentina. So I don't know, it'd be cool to see the Andes.
God, yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's one of the things that I've always thought about too, is like how spectacular it would be to view them from the coast, but fuck me, it is a long way to go. I mean, going to Australia exhausts me enough. And then when I was looking at flight times, this was back when Emily and Dawson they were planning their Knowles trip. And they were like, we want to go to Patagonia. And I was like, all right, travel agent is going to look that up for you and see what that says. And when I got back to him and I said, you know, that's going to take you about 52 hours worth of travel time to get to Patagonia. Have fun.
Wow.
Bye. I'm not buying your ticket.
Because
That's-
there's just not that good of connections from the West Coast. Why would it take?
It's just because like you kind of have to hop and skip your way down the coast. And when I was looking, this was like 5 years ago, it's probably worse now. Like a lot of flights don't fly every day. You know,
Right,
like say
right.
you're gonna make a connection in La Paz, and then you need to get yourself further south. Flights only leave on Tuesday and Thursday.
Right.
So it's a lot of coordination. But
Mhm.
I think that would be pretty amazing to see the Andes. And there's some just crazy archaeological sites to visit. That would be really fun.
All right,
Yeah.
when we start planning it, we'll kind of, ask for your input.
It is one of those things, like you said, though. I mean, even driving to those sites or those different places.
Right, can take a while, yeah.
It's from the little I've heard. My niece was she was in Bolivia, wasn't she?
Ecuador.
Ecuador. Yeah,
Ecuador.
she talked about going down to the coast road, and sometimes the roads would just be gone. Like
Mhm.
there'd be a
Yeah.
rainstorm. And she's like, she has not been to Africa, but it gave me the impression sometimes that once you got out of the major cities, that you didn't know what you were gonna hit with the roads.
Mhm.
Like it could just be really bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you have to really if you're gonna drive, you've got to be mega prepared. Like you need to have a hardcore vehicle that can handle going off road. You need to have like all your food and water and gas. It would be an expedition. And then you need to know how to speak local languages. Either that or just be really fucking brave as shit.
Kind of what you're gonna have to.
Yeah, I think that whole travel thing, I mean, that's just a whole another level when you start doing that sort of thing. I don't know if I
Yeah.
would actually drive down there as much as just use
Yeah.
local, just hire a driver, like,
Right.
just
Yeah.
do it that way. I feel like that, even though that might be more expensive in some ways, it's
They'll take us into the hills and ransom
Yeah,
us.
and I've
work-
got to imagine that the ecotourism is opened up down there.
I would think so too.
Yeah, I discovered like over like, I guess the last 10 years of traveling that I really like to have a local guide. I mean, wherever I'm gonna go. I mean, obviously for me, it's been.
Did you say guide or guy?
Both.
I want somebody who knows the history of where I'm going. So I'm hiring like archaeologists in the off season that want to make some extra coin, and they're locals, so they know what they're doing and
Yeah.
where they're going, and they know the history, because it's fun to know about the folklore of where you're visiting. Or
Absolutely.
yeah, I just think, and then if you're really lucky, they'll take you somewhere to meet some family. Like Emily and Dawson had that opportunity when they were doing their Knowles course. The couple that was running it, they stopped in at this little farm that it was a local couple and their family. They were fishermen and they fished the old school way, and they basically gave everybody a crash course in what it's like to be a small fisherman living, off the Sea of Cortez. It was really interesting. So
Is that where
And
they
I
did their,
think-
oh, it was kayaking,
It was,
wasn't it?
it was like
That's right.
kayaking, wasn't it?
yeah, they were doing the
Yeah.
sea kayaking, which
Yeah,
was
yeah.
great.
No, I agree. Like even we all know if we've traveled overseas, the best contact is that local, that person that
Yeah.
can just keep you away from the places that you really don't need to go see. That's
Yeah.
super touristy and
And a lot of, I've noticed like in the back of my archaeology magazines, I started just looking at different tours that they offered, and they're all small group tours. But, I think you could inquire within a framework of that to find a reputable guide
mhm.
that knows.
Really depends on what you want to see, like what the purpose
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the trip would be.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Like I have a friend who's really, her focus over the pandemic has been, she really wants to go to Machu Picchu. And I think that's probably going to be her next trip. I think she's trying to get away from her family more than anything else.
Is she
Well,
gonna take
that'll
the
do
long
it.
path up?
Yeah, exactly.
I think she will. I mean, she
Yeah.
loves to do stuff like this. Like we met in North Carolina when we were in our 20s, and she had kids a lot later than I did. So her kids are like 10, 12, 13. But like she recently did, it's somewhere up in New Hampshire. There's a bike ride that you can do that's like a fucking million miles long, and it's straight uphill in both directions. And she loved it.
Gotta be in
It's
the,
gotta be in Mount Washington.
well, it's gotta be the presidential. ranch.
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember. It'll probably come to me after we get off the phone.
Yeah, it could be she biked up to Mount Washington, which is that's the biggest mountain there. That's got a road
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, so they were cycling. She just joined a group of other cyclists, and then they're cycling and then hiking for a ridiculous period of time. But
I
she's
feel like, yeah, there's so many outfitters now that do, anything you want to do, you could do, combination of
Mhm.
Yeah.
single, couplet, whatever.
Yeah.
and she just goes by herself. She signs up and she goes and she meets people there and she makes friends there. And she's like anything not to have to be around a bunch of 12-year-olds. Like, I know you really want to have kids, but are you sure that was the right idea? Yeah.
Well, what are
that's
you
exciting.
doing tomorrow, Dawn and Chris? What's
Well,
Yeah.
we're leaving today
Mhm.
What? Where are you going?
for a couple nights. Well, it's not super exciting, but because really, it's up north, it's in Kalama. We're staying at a McMinimans for 2 nights. It's on the
I know where
Columbia.
that
Have you
Yes.
been there?
I have not actually been to that McMinimans, but I know exactly where it is and I know what the view's like, and apparently
Yeah,
it's,
it looks pretty spectacular. So we
Yeah.
have had this.
Unfortunately, it's raining right
That's
now.
okay. It'll be fine. We have a friend of ours had gifted us with a night, and so we got it 2 years ago. So like,
Oh.
let's use that for anniversary. So we just are gonna do 2 nights instead of 1 night.
Mhm.
oh, that's gonna be
So-
fun.
Yeah, so I called and talked to the manager, and she's like, "Oh, you definitely want to do, the corner room. It's great views, and it's just a little extra, and blah blah blah." So we're gonna leave this afternoon and head up there and come back on Wednesday.
Oh,
That's gonna be
fun.
fun. And it doesn't matter if it's raining, you can just drink beer.
No, of course not.
That's, what else is good? And don't they have, I think they, gosh, do they have like a little outdoor putting green area there?
I don't know if they have that, but
I-
there's a walk that you can, there's like a couple mile walk or run we could do, and there's a marine park with a totem pole that's supposed to be one of the attractions there.
So
It's
Yeah.
probably a replica.
It's probably a
And that's
replica.
Let's hope
But there's
so.
also,
They're always cool to see whether they're real or not.
I mean, they
Yeah.
have a cabin bar too. Did you see that? There's a
Yeah.
cabin bar
I don't-
that's like a quarter mile down.
I
And-
love that kind of shit. That's so awesome. McMenamins is
It's
great.
super artsy, and the only thing about McMenamins is I feel like they do such a great job with locations and redoing buildings and bringing in artists, but their food is mediocre.
It's pub food, unless you're out at Edgefield, because I mean, the Black Rabbit is good. but-
Yeah,
Have you been to
Yeah.
Kennedy School?
Yeah, I think I've been to all of them that I can get to within a certain distance.
yeah.
I like the
stuff-
Kennedy School.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you been to the one in Bend?
I have.
Yeah.
And you went and found the hidden rooms and did that little part?
I didn't find all of the hidden rooms. We were there for a really short period of time, like an overnighter, and it was when the kids were younger, we had Rob and Emily with us, so we were
Okay.
kind of interested in what we could do, how far we could escape.
We didn't even stay there, but we just walked in to check it out, and you can walk and find these rooms, Laurel, that are basically hidden, kind of like you would, in a haunted house, you pull aside a bookcase and there's a door that opens up into this little room. I don't even know what that was all about.
Yeah, it was.
I don't
think
even,
that was
I don't know what McMinimans is.
It's a chain pub brewery place out here they've been
Oh,
around
okay.
for 30 years or so.
Two
Yeah.
brothers, I believe, started
Yeah,
buying
he's-
properties
he's-
that like,
Old historical pieces of property.
and then
From what-
hiring artists to decorate it.
Yeah, you should
So
look it up
it's-
online. They have a great website.
Some of them are like okay, average, but some of them, like they took an elementary school up in Northeast Portland and redid the whole thing. So they have, different types of, they have bars with inside the restaurant, or they have a movie theater
Mm.
or a sauna they just have, I love the pipe room. That's the one
The
that I
boiler
like.
room
The broiler room. It's like
Yeah.
a pub in the.
Yeah.
in the boiler room. So you go, basically all the pipes and all the boilers still there, Laurel, and you're just sitting amongst all these pipes that are all been, polished
Weird.
and looking nice, and you have a drink.
Oh,
Or the
cool.
cigar room.
The cigar rooms, I think in the janitor's closet, the old janitor's closet.
And that's what I love about Edgefield is that, I mean, we used to go out to Edgefield, Peter and I, and just go out and spend the night just for fun because we could. We'd go and we'd get there early in the afternoon and we'd go to the Ruby Spa and just sit in the hot tub basically for free. I mean, they give you a bathrobe in your room and you just shuffle out there with your bathing suit
Yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah.
your robe, and
Your bottle of
like
wine.
they have the tiny little one room, Jerry's room, that plays Grateful Dead on old television over and over again, and it's like this big. I mean, like you can fit 5 people in. It's so much fun. And when they have live music, oh, that's
Mhm.
Yeah.
you basically just go get drunk and listen to music and eat food and stumble around. It's perfect.
Big property out there.
It's a good venue for outdoor music. It's really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Did you find the website, Laurel?
No, I was looking at something else, because I'm getting paid for my house today. And I just remembered that, oh, I was told I should check my bank account at 5 o'clock. And then I was like, well, I just need to do that. So it's there. Money's
You're
there.
like,
Like
Congratulations.
this
Thank you.
conversation about bars is boring. I'm gonna go look at my bank account.
No. Just when you have something like that in your head, I was like, I'll just check.
yeah.
Do it
for
now
sure.
before you forget.
Yeah.
Do you have enough money to go to the bar tonight?
I do have enough money to go to the bar. And the other little thing how I was thinking about an electric bicycle.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, that guy never got back to me. So now I'm like, well, now I'm thinking about an electric car.
Ooh,
So I'm pretty
Two
sure I'm going to
wheel?
buy an electric car maybe
wheel.
that's
tomorrow.
cool. What
That's
kind
funny.
of looking at?
I'm looking at probably a 2020 Chevy Volt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. When you've got a couple $100,000 just sitting in your bank account, you're like, I could use 25, 30 of that on a car.
Uh-huh.
Well, it
And
does
now I've
sound-
been living in my place for 6 weeks, and I do think I need a car here. Like I can and I will walk 2 miles to a grocery store and then take the bus home, but that takes up a good portion of your afternoon.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
now that I can go down and visit my son, who's
Yeah.
100 miles away, and you just start to realize I have friends in Baltimore and stuff like that. So then I
It is
kind of
freedom.
got caught up in electric vehicles, which is kind of freedom, but then you have to like figure out all the logistics of how do you charge them and that kind of stuff. Because I wouldn't be able to charge it out of my house.
No?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure you could drive it to the grocery store and plug it in there and.
Yeah. Yeah,
just
we
take
probably don't
time.
have quite as much infrastructure as, well, I don't know what Portland's is like, but
We got a lot of them.
yeah, we are not there yet in Washington DC, but it's changing so fast. I mean, I think we still are in the DC is still in like the top 10 or 15 cities to live in with, electric vehicles. So
I thought you could plug those in your garage. You just have a
you
special adapt-
can, because I live in a rented house now with street parking. So
Mhm.
I don't know that I could like always park right in front of my house. And then you would have to get an adapter on your house that would allow the electricity to flow at a higher voltage rate.
Or it's a
Um,
trickle, or it's like a trickle, isn't it? I mean, if like your motorcycle, that's what our friend Charlie's thinking of getting one too.
Oh, okay.
And it can just be a trickle bat, so it just like all night long, it's running to charge.
Yeah, on just like a regular, like if you just plugged it into your outlet to fill up a
Mhm.
car is a couple of days.
Yes.
They only fill up at like a couple miles per hour in
Yeah.
terms of your range. And then I live in an old house, a 1930s house, so I would have to do more research about whether like the electricity in this house would even be sufficient to add
Right.
on something. So my long and short of it is I would have to rely on always going to a charging station, which
Yeah.
is not, I don't know. I can
Manage
put that
that.
into my life. Yeah, I think I can
Put it
that.
on an
Yeah.
errand base.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
the 2020 vehicles are more like a 200 to 250 mile range as compared to like 100 to
Uh-huh.
150. So, I mean, I probably would not go 200 miles in a month. I think for
Yeah.
unless I like took a trip, like I don't drive
Yeah.
anywhere. So, yeah,
Well, that's
We'll see.
exciting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're
that's
the
kinda my
second person
news.
we know that's thinking about getting one.
Mm.
Our good friend Charlie's.
Is he
Well,
He's
gonna?
also like you, he's got some extra cash laying around and he's been bugging me for like 5 years to buy a Tesla. I'm like, I'm
Oh.
not buying a Tesla. I'm like,
Mm.
this
Yeah.
is, but he's like, I want to, he's in love with, he's got a man crush on Elon Musk and everything.
He's
he
gonna buy a
does.
Tesla?
He's thinking of buying a Tesla.
Wow.
Oh,
I haven't
they're
even
so
looked at the prices
expensive.
of the Teslas.
Yeah.
They're like
it's-
$80,000.
Well, you can get them cheaper than that now. I think the cheapest ones start like upper 30s, but if you put anything in it, if you're gonna get it, it's gonna be like 50. But
just
when you really
heard.
think about that though, if you're buying any SUV,
Yeah,
they start at the
Yeah.
same price range
Yeah,
now, in the upper
exactly.
30s.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're just so expensive if you're buying a new.
right.
Who was it that I heard, somebody is about to come out with a really legit electric truck.
It's
Which I think-
Ford. And
Is
the
it
reason you
Ford?
heard about it is because President Biden went down and drove around in it and made all
Oh.
the headlines and all this stuff. Yeah.
Reason.
Yeah. Biden, like just a week ago went, and it's like
Ah.
it's whatever Ford's standard pickup is. And people always kind of were saying like, we'll know the day when electric vehicles have turned a corner, when the Ford truck, pickup truck comes out with an EV version, and it just did. So,
Interesting.
Well,
um,
you probably didn't watch the Super Bowl this year, I'm guessing. But I did with Charlie, and you watched it with me. I think you
Go
were
ahead.
on.
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Oh,
it had
well,
a Tesla
GM
commercial or
had
GM.
this General Motors had this commercial that they basically came out and said by 2030, all our vehicles will be electrical.
Right.
I was like, and everybody was kind of like, that's a very weird commercial and very surprising because GM is of the big three, the one who's dragged their feet the most on any kind of,
Yeah. Yeah.
and miles per gallon improvement, always.
I want to know so when you think about in America, how many cars there are that are on the road that are new cars right out that are not electric. Like, how do you change that automobile infrastructure? Like, can you retrofit for a reasonable price, your car that you just bought next year? I mean, what the fuck are they
No,
gonna
because
do?
they're
with all that?
completely different engines.
I mean, are they
like-
gonna have to rip out like the whole innards and have your car redone? Are they just gonna, you're gonna trade it in and they're gonna?
No,
base-
you're gonna trade them in.
Well,
You're
Yeah,
gonna trade
but
them
what
in.
do you think about how many cars that is and all of the shit that goes inside the car? Like, how do you recycle all of that? What do you do with all of that?
Well, it's
That's
the
a
same
lot.
thing
Same
same thing
thing
they'll do
right now, I
but we're
think, yeah.
talking like, you're talking 50 to 100 years before all those, if they were to start tomorrow, I mean, people
Yeah.
will still be driving gas cars for at least 50. I mean, because some areas it's just not practical. I mean, think
Can
of
you
Eastern
imagine
Oregon.
how expensive gasoline is gonna be towards the end of that timeline? I mean, geez,
Shouldn't it be cheaper because there's
You
less
think?
Less demand.
There's less.
But they're gonna
demand,
have to
so
get it
there's-
trucked out. I mean, their trucking systems are
Yeah.
gonna be,
like.
I don't
who's
know
still
what's gonna, I'm sure
find
there's
gas?
financial models of how it's all gonna happen, but I mean, the electric infrastructure, even in the last 12 months, is rolled out really quickly here on the East Coast, at least.
So, and speaking of the oil and all that stuff, refinery, I was listening to something about how they know this is coming to some extent and why plastics are pushed so hard now.
Yeah,
Because they
Yeah.
know how much money they can make out of plastics and they're just
Right.
throwaway plastics.
Yeah,
So they're
Right.
trying to branch, that's kind of one of the weird places they're trying to branch out into.
right.
Um,
It's not a weird
You
place.
know,
It's, they've branched out there in the,
yeah.
Year,
I
yeah,
think it's
decades ago.
amazing how many people do not, either they aren't educated or they are not aware or whatever of the fact that plastic is made from oil byproducts. I don't
Right.
think everybody's aware of that.
No,
well, and that the
plastic,
recycling it is a myth,
Mhm.
largely.
Fucked if we keep on using plastic like that. Totally fucked.
Yeah, and I have to say, I mean, these electric vehicles, when you look into the environmental footprint, I mean, of course, they're like other cars, they're largely plastic on the inside, right? So
Wow,
there are
yeah.
those kinds of things as well that you can't really say it's fully green. But
no, it's, we talk about that. There's that, we always talk about recycling. There's also the other that always gets lost is the other two R's that go along with that is reuse and reduce.
right,
Mhm.
So the less, I mean, you're gonna get an electric car, but you're not gonna be using it a ton, and I'm guessing you'll keep it along, like we keep our cars forever, and
Mhm.
you just gotta look at it that way, that you're not gonna be, well, unless you are buying a new electric car every 2 years, I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's.
It'll definitely reduce my use on public transport.
Mhm,
I
yeah.
don't know. Now you're making me rethink it.
No, I
What?
think it's
Maybe
a
I
good
should
idea.
just buy that, 'cause I still have the stock. I'm like, I'm like, okay, like I still literally have the buy the stock with the stock numbers on it, like sitting here, the Mind Med F and the
Well,
Afria.
I mean, if you need to.
So you can tell I'm like sitting here like, what should I be doing with my money?
Ray,
I think buying a vehicle, and if you know you're driving mainly within city, you're gonna be doing 90% of your driving in a city like Portland or DC or wherever you're at. It makes sense to get a small car or electric either way, because it's gonna be better long-term for everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean, I know that the city is not going to be expanding bus routes and stuff at the pace that would make them more convenient for my life right now.
Right, right. And the other thing is, can you get by renting for as much as you want to use? Like if you wanted to
Yeah,
go
I mean,
see, like,
right.
mean,
Yeah. So I've rented a car 4 times since I've moved into this house. And then it's like, I don't know, that's a lot to,
Sure. To
you know,
drop in.
I use that, it's not a money thing so much, just it becomes like a logistics things. Like you have to make
Yeah.
the arrangement. and
Someone's
then-
gotta get you there, yeah. it's still-
Yeah, all of that stuff. I use that Turo app. I don't know if you're, where you like, it's like the Airbnb for cars. Like you go
Yes.
rent your neighbor's
Oh.
car.
Yeah, yep. Yep.
Maybe I'll Turo my car. That would be
There
kind
you
of
go.
interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, shall we get going today
Let's do it.
and talk more about electric cars when I get one.
Yeah. Tell us all about it.